सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा. A very good afternoon to all of you present here. With the blessings of Goddess Saraswati and Swamiji, I welcome you all with great joy and exhilaration in today's program. It's my pleasure to present the topic Vivekananda in the Global Millennium on the occasion of Swami Vivekananda Jayanti. First of all, I want to thank our respected principal, Mrs. Biniwale Madam, who inspired me to present this topic on this day. This topic is included in the book Heartbeats of Hindu Nation Volume 2, which is written by Mananiya P. Parmeshwaranji. In this book, he exhibited different aspects of Swamiji's personality. Many stalwarts of India were under the influence of Swamiji's personality. Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak praised Vivekananda for taking the responsibility to re-establish the glory of India, glory of Hinduism. Another stalwart like Rabindranath Tagore, who suggested, if you want to know India, then study Vivekananda. In him, everything is positive and nothing negative. In Sanskrit shlok, it is said that Yatha Chittam Tatha Vacho, Yatha Vachas Tatha Kriya, Chitte Vachi Kriyayam Sadhunam Ekarupata. It means, as in mind, so the speech, as it is the speech, so is the action of the good people. There is uniformity in mind, speech, and action. Swami Vivekananda was the perfect embodiment of such stalwarts. During the period of 7 decades after independence, new generations have come up. The world has changed a lot. India is no exception. New ideas and ideologies called mantra drashta of modern India have increasingly been marginalized from our mainstream thought currents, while nothing else could even be thought of as a fairly viable substitute. Swamiji was an exception. He was a staunch nationalist. He spoke passionately about our nation and its greatness. He imparted to us a profound vision of our role in forging a new world order. But with the present craze for globalization, our youth find it difficult even to accept the concept of nation. National pride appears to them anachronistic in the rapidly changing world situation. The vision of India's role is now confined to certain areas of technological innovations and professional expertise. There is no philosophy of patriotism to guide them, and hence there is no depth in their approach. India is the land with the largest and brightest population of promising youths. But how to equip and inspire them with a sense of mission, a true spirit of conviction and unreserved commitment for the sake of a noble ideal? How to clear the confusion that clouds their vision? It is precisely here that Swami Vivekananda becomes relevant. As it is said, the mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled. Swamiji did the same. He kindled the fire of patriotism in our youth. Nationalism in India is a positive concept, unlike in the Western countries. Swamiji made it clear that every nation is a living entity with a soul, a distinct mission of its own. Each nation has a destiny to fulfill. Each nation has a message to deliver. Each nation has a mission to accomplish. Therefore, from the very start, we must have to understand the mission of our own race, the destiny it has to fulfill. The fulfillment of the mission is the purpose of existence. Coordination among nations and not domination over other nations is the ideal. That was the ancient concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Chakravarti Rajagopalachari, a man of razor sharp intelligence, has defined Swamiji's contribution in a most befitting manner. He said, Swami Vivekananda saved Hinduism and saved India. But for him, we would have lost our religion and would not have gained our freedom. We therefore owe everything to Swami Vivekananda. May his faith, his courage, his wisdom ever inspire us so that we may keep safe the treasure we have received from him. To the superficial observers, globalization is going to be the final word in man's civilizational march. It is sometimes believed that the whole world and all countries and cultures are going to be steamrolled into one homogeneous totality. But history tells us that this cannot be. Globalization is another milestone which will also be passed. It will leave its imprint, no doubt, but only like the earlier civilization phases. One thing is clear, whether it is imperialism or consumerism, socialism or globalism, none of these can overturn or nullify nationalism. That will remain the cornerstone for the future of human civilization. It will ensure human unity with cultural diversity, which is nature's or call it God's design. What is India's role in this? Swami Vivekananda stated unambiguously that India's soul lies in its spirituality and its world mission is to evolve spirituality and help humanity with its Vedantic ideas. But Swamiji hastened to assure that spirituality does not mean either a cluster of rituals or more otherworldliness. Spirituality is a way of life here and now. It includes material development and spiritual enlightenment. He envisaged future India as a spiritually enlightened nation, firmly standing as an economically prosperous, socially harmonious, and technologically well equipped national foundation in total harmony with the rest of the world. Swamiji believed that India has a dual role to play, imparting spirituality to the materially advanced countries of the West while learning from them the techniques of organization, mutual cooperation, and technological advancement in order to make India's development balanced and total. Making a special reference to Parliament of Religion, he said, the present preach in the Gita, whosoever comes to me through whatever form I reach him, all men are struggling through paths which in the end lead to me. There is no room for religion conflicts or intolerance, much less for the haunting specter of terrorism. Swamiji's words are prophetic and its relevance continues with greater urgency. Swamiji says religion does not consist in erecting temples or building churches or attending public worship. It is not to be found in books or in words or in lectures or in organizations. Religion consists in realization. With this context, I would like to share a story which Swamiji used to tell. A disciple went to his master and said to him, Sir, I want religion. The master looked at the young man and did not speak but only smiled. The young man came every day and insisted that he wanted religion. But the old man knew better than the young man. One day, when it was very hot, he asked the young man to go to the river with him and take a plunge. The young man plunged in, and the old man followed him and held the young man down the water by force. After the young man had struggled for a while, he let him go and asked him what he wanted most while he was under the water, a breath of air. The disciple answered, Do you want God in that way? If you do, you will get him in a moment, said the master. In this way, Swamiji precisely told the importance of the religion. Vivekananda unhesitatingly asserted that Vedanta alone fits the role of a universal religion because it is beyond sectarianism and absolutely scientific and fully verifiable. Swamiji was one of the first and foremost exponents of Hindu nationalism. Mahayogi Sir Aurobindo, also following the footsteps of Swami Vivekananda, were fully convinced that ours is a Hindu nation and Sanatan Dharma is its very soul. Even his definition of nationalism, that national union in India must be a union of those whose hearts beat to the same spiritual tune, makes it clear. Needless to say, it had nothing negative or reactionary about it. But unfortunately, politically biased propaganda against the world has resulted in weakening the nation's pride in its history, culture, tradition, and worldview. This has done immense harm to the noble cause which Swamiji held in high esteem and weakened our national integrity and identity. Globalization has brought about another dimension in the East-West relationship. They represent two different kinds of civilizations. Swamiji had stated in one of his lectures that the West created a model of civilization that measured its success in terms of how much a man can possess and how much one can enjoy. The Eastern civilization measured its sources in terms of how little a man needed to possess and still live happily. The Indian civilization centered around the concept of aparigraha or non-acquisition and renunciation, whereas the Western had upabhoga or consumerism as its fulcrum. Another aspect which Swamiji has pointed out is that the Hindu civilization has no problem with the modern science. He said, the Hindu is only glad that what he has been cherishing in his bosom for ages is going to be taught in a more forcible language and with further light from latest conclusions of science. But it is not easy for other religions to accept the findings of science and still be believers in the tenets of their religion. As Swami Ranganathan puts it, but in the West, the Christian theology never allowed science to proceed deeper and deeper. They tried to stop it and even killed a few scientists. So few well-tested truths of science could demolish the whole dogmas of Christian religion in the modern West. Indian spirituality and modern science will fulfill each other and lay down the foundation for the future civilization. Here, I want to share one thought-provoking statement by the world-renowned historian A.L. Besham regarding Swamiji. Even now, 100 years after the birth of Narendranath Datta, who later became Swami Vivekananda, it is very difficult to evaluate his importance in the scale of world's history. It is certainly for greater than any Western historian or most Indian historian would have suggested at the time of his death. The passing of years and the many stupendous and unexpected events which have occurred since then suggest that in centuries to come, he will be remembered as one of the main molders of the modern world. Now, it's time for me to present my gratitude towards our respected principal, Mrs. Biniwale Madam, for giving me an opportunity to present my view before you. I also want to thank all of you for listening me patiently and calmly. I would like to conclude my topic with this thought of Swami Vivekananda. He says, if you are really my children, you will fear nothing. Stop at nothing. You will be like lions. My prayers and benedictions follow every step you take. Everything will come to you if you have faith. Thank you.